You are sitting in the cabin, cruising altitude. Everything is calm. And then, without warning, the aircraft drops. Your stomach lifts. The overhead bins rattle. The person next to you grabs the armrest. Your brain tells you something has gone very wrong. But here's what is actually happening. Almost nothing. And by the end of this video, turbulence will never feel the same way again. Because what you think is happening isn't. Turbulence is simply irregular air movement. That is it. The aircraft is moving through air that is not stable. Air masses that are shifting, rising, falling, or colliding with each other. The causes vary. Wind shear, two air masses moving at different speeds or directions meeting at the same point. Jet streams, rivers of fast-moving air at high altitude with turbulent edges. Thermals, warm air rising from the ground, creating vertical movement in the atmosphere. Mountain waves, airflow disrupted as wind passes over a mountain range and oscillates on the other side. Different causes, one result. The aircraft encounters air that is not smooth, and it responds. Here is something most passengers do not realize. The movement you feel inside the cabin is exaggerated compared to what the aircraft is actually doing. Think about sitting in the back of a car on a bumpy road. The car moves a few centimeters over the bump. Your body feels significantly more. The same principle applies in an aircraft, amplified by height above the floor, the position of your seat, and the fact that you have no visual reference for what is happening outside. A wing flex that looks alarming from a window seat is designed movement. A drop that feels like 100 feet is often less than 10. Your perception is not an accurate measure of what the aircraft is doing. The most unsettling type of turbulence is the kind you cannot see coming. Clear air turbulence, CAT. It occurs at cruise altitude, typically above 20,000 feet, in perfectly clear skies with no cloud, no weather, no visual warning whatsoever. It is associated with jet streams, the fast-moving rivers of air that circle the globe at altitude. Where the edges of a jet stream meet slower-moving air, wind shear occurs. The aircraft enters it without warning. The weather radar cannot detect it. There is no visual cue. The crew has no advance notice. It appears and then it passes. CAT is the reason the seatbelt sign exists at cruise altitude, and the reason you should always keep it fastened. At the other end of the scale, CADITUS, convective turbulence. The turbulence associated with thunderstorms and cumulonimbus clouds. This is the most severe type. Inside a cumulonimbus, updrafts and downdrafts can reach speeds of hundreds of kilometers per hour. The vertical forces involved are extreme. No commercial aircraft is cleared to fly through an active cumulonimbus. None. Pilots go around them, over them where possible, or request routing changes from air traffic control to avoid them entirely. The weather radar in the cockpit exists specifically to detect and avoid convective activity. If you have ever experienced a flight being rerouted around a storm, this is why. The pilots are not being cautious, they are following procedure. Two more types worth knowing. Mountain wave turbulence. When wind crosses a mountain range, the airflow on the other side oscillates in waves. Smooth above the mountains, rough on the downwind side. Pilots know where it occurs and plan accordingly. Wake turbulence, the invisible vortices that trail behind every aircraft from its wingtips. The larger the aircraft, the stronger the wake. That is why you sit on the runway waiting before departure. The aircraft ahead needs time and distance for its wake to dissipate. Wake turbulence near the ground during approach, and departure is taken seriously. Spacing is not optional, it is safety. Here is the reassurance that most passengers never hear. Aircraft are not designed to tolerate turbulence. They are designed expecting it. Every commercial aircraft is stress-tested to loads far beyond anything encountered in normal or even severe service turbulence. The wings are tested to flex well beyond their normal operating range before certification is granted. The airframe is built with safety margins that account for loads significantly greater than any turbulence event on record. When you see the wings flexing during turbulence, that flex is intentional. A rigid wing would transfer the load directly into the structure. A flexible wing absorbs it. The movement you see is the engineering working exactly as designed. Let's address the fear directly. Turbulence does not cause aircraft to fall out of the sky. The altitude loss experienced during even severe turbulence is typically measured in tens of feet, often less than 50 feet. The aircraft remains in controlled flight throughout. The autopilot is managing the situation. The crew are monitoring it. What feels like a dramatic drop is the aircraft responding to a column of air moving downward, and then immediately recovering as it exits that column. The aircraft is not falling, it is flying through uneven air. Those are not the same thing. In the entire history of modern commercial aviation, structural failure caused purely by turbulence on a well-maintained aircraft is extraordinarily rare. Here is the honest truth about turbulence risk. The aircraft is not the danger, you are. Specifically, your seatbelt or lack of it. The overwhelming majority of turbulence injuries occur to passengers and crew who are not belted in. A passenger standing in the aisle gets thrown into the ceiling. A crew member carrying a service trolley loses their footing. An unsecured bag becomes a projectile. These injuries are real. They happen on every severe turbulence event. The aircraft structure is fine. The people inside who were not secured are not. The seatbelt sign is not a suggestion. It is not an overreaction. It is the single most effective piece of safety equipment on that aircraft. And it only works if you use it. Turbulence is not ignored. It is actively managed. Before departure, the dispatcher and crew review weather forecasts, upper wind charts, and known turbulence areas along the route. The weather radar in the cockpit detects convective activity and allows the crew to navigate around storm cells in real time. PIREPs, pilot reports, are shared between aircraft and air traffic control. If a crew encounters turbulence, they report it. The next aircraft on that route benefits from that report. Altitude changes are requested when turbulence is anticipated or encountered. The crew will climb above it, descend below it, or request a lateral offset. Turbulence management is a continuous process from planning to landing. What most passengers do not realize is that when a severe turbulence event occurs, the process does not end when the aircraft lands. If turbulence has exceeded defined limits, the aircraft is taken out of service. An inspection is carried out. The technical log is reviewed. Passenger and crew injury reports are assessed. The structure is checked. The cabin is inspected. If any limits were exceeded, engineering review is required before the aircraft flies again. As an AME, I have been part of post-turbulence inspections. You are checking for things the passengers never see. Stress on structural components, cabin fittings, overhead bins, galleys. The aircraft is cleared to fly when the inspection says so, not before. Turbulence is routine. Every commercial aircraft flying today has been through it thousands of times. The engineers who designed it planned for it. The certification authorities tested it. The crews who fly it are trained for it. The AMEs who maintain it inspect for its effects. None of them treat it as exceptional. That's because it isn't. What is exceptional is the engineering that makes a 70-ton aircraft feel like it is falling when it has barely moved. The next time turbulence hits it, remember that. The aircraft is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The crew are doing exactly what they were trained to do. And the seatbelt you are wearing, do not take it off. That is the one thing in your control. Use it. If this changed how you think about turbulence, subscribe. I break down aviation in a way that actually makes sense, without the noise. See you in the next one.